We will begin with the performance management section C. Before coming to this section, okay, this is a continuation of budget. This is a continuation of what? Budget. Because we are going to see in the performance measurement with respect to cost, what kind of performance, what kind of analysis that we are going to make. Okay, so number one, we should have a knowledge about cost. What cost? Material cost, labor cost, variable cost, fixed cost, then sales, then how to prepare a fixed budget, flexible budget. That particular knowledge is required before we start with this particular chapter. Or since already we learned that particular budgeting methodologies in section B, it is easy for us to learn the next chapter called cost and variance measures. Cost and which one? Variance measures. Before we go for cost and variance measures, understand, for example, your organization has already prepared the budgets. What budgets your organization has already prepared? All the operating budgets your organization has prepared. What operating budgets? Number one, the raw material budget. Number two, the labor budget. Number three, the variable expenses budget, which may be direct or indirect variable expenses budget. Fixed expenses budget they prepared. They also prepared a sales budget. So they will have budgeted cost, budgeted sales, differences, budgeted profit. You add up material, labor, overheads, you get the total cost. Compare it with sales, you will have which one? The profit, budgeted profit. Then this happens, let us assume at the beginning of a period, which may be 3 months before, or 4 months before, or 6 months before, or 1 year before. After that 3 months, or 4 months, or 6 months, or 1 year, actual results come. Okay, after the 6 months of preparing the budget, okay, the actual results are available. What do you mean by actual results? Actual quantity of material purchased and consumed, actual number of workers worked and wages paid to them, actual variable expenses, actual fixed expenses are known to us, and actual sales also available to us. Okay, the difference between budget and actual, we call it as variance. The budget difference between budget and actuals, we call it as which one? Variance. Okay, but a variance analysis to do more than that of budgeting. Okay, before we go for analyzing what variance is it, why material variance comes, why labor variance comes, what is the reason for sales variance, before analyzing that, okay, why should you do variance analysis? Why should you do variance analysis? Yes, we are going to compare actual expenses with budgeted amount for a same period that we are going to do. Why? It result in management by exceptions. What do you mean by management by exception? When everything goes good, when everything goes smooth, the management need not concentrate on that. For example, you're running a business with respect to material department, there is no problem. Purchase quantity is consumed. We have got a target cost and actual cost which are the same. And we find there is no abnormal consumption of material. We don't have any abnormal cost of material. There is no problem with respect to materials management. The top management need not concentrate on the materials department now. With respect to raw material, we are pakka clean. Then coming to labor, we find that too much of idle time is there, or too much of overtime the workers take and work, or we spend more money than the standard rate. Standard rate per unit is like 5 rupees, but actual rate we spend is 1 minute. So, with respect to labor, we have got constraints like issues like too much of idle time or too much of labor cost is incurred. Standard rate is $5 per unit, but actual rate is like $8 per unit. There is a problem with respect to labor department. Now, the top management will concentrate only on the exceptional matters. What is an exceptional matters? The matters where there is a deviation, the areas where there is a deviation, the areas where you spend more, or there is a variance. Okay, so variances results in management by exception. That's what. The management can focus on the areas where there are problems with unfavorable variances. Okay. If the management is having a favorable variance, okay, or if you find some favorable variance also, the management can rethink on budgeting. Okay, if you find, for example, actual sales is more than budgeted sales always, then next time they will revise the budget itself. So you will concentrate both on gray areas as well as good areas. Okay, then For finding out variance analysis, what do you require? A standard cost. What is a standard cost? Budgeted cost is different, standard cost is different. What do you mean by standard cost? Standard cost is nothing but cost spent for every unit of input. Cost to be spent for every unit of input. What do you mean by cost to be spent for every unit of input? For example, you are doing a construction work. Okay, let us assume it is a normal building construction. We work out cost per square feet. It comes to, let us assume, $1,000 per square feet or $100 per square feet. Okay, that is the standard cost. How do you arrive at that $100 per square feet? Now you have to break down. Okay, the construction cost includes, number one, material cost. Material cost includes different materials, clear? Iron and steel. Okay, number two, the cement. Number three, the stone and chips that to be used, the concrete mixtures that to be used. Clear, material is not only one material. We use multiple material. For every material, you should fix a standard. For 1 square feet, how much of concrete consumed? How much of steel, iron and steel consumed? How much of, for example, your stone, chips, etc. being consumed? So break down the cost. Cost of construction. Material cost, 5 or 6 material we consume. What is the rate per square feet or cost per square feet? Same way for labor, same way for overheads, you have to work out. Why to go for construction? Let us take a cloth manufacturing. Let us take a shirt manufacturing unit. We found a standard cost per unit. A standard cost per unit of a shirt is, let's assume, about $50. $50, of course, it's costly. $50 let us take. Okay, what is the standard cost? Number one, material. Okay, number one, in the material, there are different material we use. Number one, the basic cloth, the color material. Okay, certain special materials which are used in handcuffs and other things, clear? There are certain materials which are used like buttons, threads, all these things are material cost, clear? So you have to work out cost per unit for each and every element. Clear? It is not one material we use for manufacturing shirt. This also includes ironing and packing material, the packing boxes. Okay, it also includes labeling cost also. So all these things comes under what? Material cost. So there are 6 materials for one shirt. For each material, how much you are going to spend or how much you are allowed to spend. That is called as what? Standard cost. Then coming to labor cost. Labor, number one, workers involved in inspecting the cloth. Then workers involved in cutting the cloth. Of course, machine cutting will be done, but cutting the cloth. Then third one, workers involved in stitching, workers involved in overlocking, workers involved in fixing the buttons, fixing the collars and other things. Then workers involved in, okay, maybe like final checking, then going for labeling, going for assembling, packing, like that. We employ about 8 to 10 types of labor in finishing a shirt. For each labor, you should be able to work out what is the cost per unit. That is cost per shirt. Standard cost per shirt, otherwise allowed cost per shirt. Then overheads can be variable overheads or fixed overheads. It can be production overheads, administration overheads or selling overheads. Fix a standard for everything. Based on the standards only, we can see the variance. That's what. Standard costs, already we had seen in budgeting section. We use standard costs for preparing budgets. Clear? So standard costs are the most important criteria for determining variances. So standard costing system should be used for the purpose of calculating what? Variance analysis. That is the most important thing. Then next one is determining the activity level for standard cost. What do you mean by activity level? We call it as capacity usage. We call it as which one? Capacity usage. What do you mean by capacity usage? Capacity usage can be calculated based on number of hours the factory is going to operate, or it can be based on number of units the factory is going to produce. Okay, or it can be a quantity of output that you are going to give. Let us take a sugar factory. Okay, what do you mean by level of activity? For your sugar factory? How many units you are going to produce in the sugar factory? How will you determine that level of activity? Number one, based on the past average sales. For the last 3 years, you take the average sales or average quantity sold. Number one, you take the average. Let us assume it comes to about 75 tons. 75 tons of sugars are sold. Number one. Number two, we will apply forecasting techniques for the sales. Okay, 75 tons in the past. In the future, we'll make plus and minus. There's an increase in demand for sugar. So we can maybe plan for 85 tons or 80 tons of production. There's a decrease in demand for sugar. Okay, maybe we manufacture about 70 tons of sugar. Okay, so based on the past average, we determine the future. Okay, based on plus and minus in the demand, we decide. Then finally, we go for deciding the activity level. We go for deciding which one? Activity level. Based on the activity level, the standard costs are being introduced. 1 minute, sorry. So based on the estimated sales, we determine the level of activity. The level of activity, please note, always for solving examination questions, the level of activity should be based on normal capacity. Are they getting determining level of activity for preparing for budgets or fixing standards? There is something called as theoretical capacity. Theoretical capacity means it is possible only in books. It is possible only in books, not possible to achieve practically. For example, a machine can produce 150 units per hour. So, which means we work out like 365 days into 24 hours into 150 units. This is called as theoretical capacity. Theoretical capacity is one which you cannot achieve in a practical sense. When you don't stop the machine at all, 24 hours you operate for 365 days. Each hour it will give you 150 units of output. That is called as what? Theoretical capacity. It is like your speedometer in the car. Like you will have a 350 miles per hour. Okay, even 750 miles per hour like that. But we will never run the car in that capacity. Second is called as practical capacity. What is practical capacity? So in 365 days, eliminate the days where the factory will be on leave. Like let us assume 165 days the factories are going to be on leave. So 200 days the factory is going to work. Out of 24 hours, let us assume we run 3 shifts of 8 hours. We run 3 shifts of 8 hours. But is it possible that in all the 8 hours the work will take place? No. 7 hours of work we will take per shift. 7 into 3. We will take only 21 hours. Then because of the power fluctuation, actual production may not be 150 per unit. Actual production or possible production is like 120 units per hour. So what is a practical or possible capacity is 200 days. Effectively, we are going to operate for 21 days. So 21 hours per day. That's like 3 shifts working into 120 units per hour. This is called as which capacity? Practical capacity or possible capacity. And whether this will be used for preparing standards? No. There is something called as normal capacity. What is the normal capacity? Based on the past average sales. Based on the past average sales. If you look at like 200 days into 21 hours into 120 units, it comes to 5,04,000 units that we can manufacture. This is called as which capacity? Possible capacity, achievable capacity, practical capacity. Normal capacity can be based on past average sales. Okay, past average sales or production. For example, for the past 6 years, we find the production average is like 4 lakh units. But there is a trend, there is an increase in trend of sales. We can manufacture 4,50,000 units. Or we are expecting to manufacture an average of 4,50,000. This is called as normal capacity. Normal capacity means considering the sales fluctuations, considering the forecast of sales, considering the past data, applying the techniques for forecasting the future. What is the normal capacity possible? 4,50,000. Simple. Level of activity for fixing budgets or standard is we should use only which capacity? Normal capacity. Other capacities are not relevant because we are not going to achieve theoretical capacity. We may not use practical capacity. Okay, we will use only which one? Normal capacity. For absorption of overheads, for estimating variances, we should use only which capacity? Normal capacity. Please note this. Then actual capacity. Actual capacity may be more than the normal, which may be like 4,75,000 units we would have manufactured. Or it can be less than the normal, like 4,40,000 units only we manufacture. Simple. If capacity usage, actual capacity usage is more than normal, we call it as favorable variance. It is called as adverse variance. Clear? We are using more than the normal expected capacity means it is called as what? A favorable variance. If you are using the less than the normal capacity means it will cause which variance? Adverse variance. Like favorable variance 25,000 units. This is called as volume variance. This is called as which variance? Volume variance. If it is less than the normal capacity, it is called as what? Adverse. You have not used the capacity properly. So practical capacity is not considered. Practical capacity is possible capacity. Okay. But due to constraints like demand or availability of raw material or availability of inputs or labor, the normal capacity may be limited. Normal capacity may be restricted. So for our company, what is the normal capacity you have to look into for preparing which one? Budgets or standards. Please note this, then we will proceed. So practical capacity provides idle time, absenteeism and leave, efficiency, performance rating. Okay, 150 units per hour. Is it practically possible to achieve? It is like mileage they promise. Like you buy a two-wheeler, they tell that okay, 70 kilometers per liter. But practically we get 60 kilometers per liter for a long ride. But actually it may be different. So this is what is called as what? Level of activity for budget. What level should be used? Normal capacity level should be used for preparing budgets. Okay, to determine variances also, we take normal capacity as the thing for, determining variances. Have we taken up? Shall we proceed? That is what? Level of activity for, fixing standard cost. Normally, normal capacity will be, considered. That's what. Theoretical capacity is not possible. Practical capacity is possible. Okay, we'll take which one? Normal output. Normal output, we'll take it. Normal capacity always will be considered for fixing which one? Budgets. That's what. Fixed production overheads are to be allocated based on which capacity? Normal capacity. Then, from where you get the standards? From where you get these standards? Like 150 units per hour, 200 days, 21 hours, 120 hours per 120 units per hour, like that. Where do you get this information for fixing the standard? One is activity analysis. Activity analysis is nothing but observe and find out the time taken. For example, I was telling about 10 segments of work in manufacturing the shirt. Clear? Number one, inspection of a cloth. What is the time taken? You just observe for a normal worker. Take the data from that. Okay, time involved in cutting, stitching, ironing, packing, everything you count the time. So based on the activity analysis, clear, you break down the activity into 10 or 20 activities. For every activity, you identify the time and cost involved in that. Then, so that is the best method for finding out, setting the standards. But the limitation is it is a time consuming process. You have to practically observe and find out activity time, activity cost and all, it is very difficult in some cases because one worker may be efficient, one worker may not be efficient. So you have to find out average efficiency and do it, all those things. Next one is historical data. Take the past cost data, take the past time records and identify. For example, we want to fix material cost for one shirt, like 1.6 meters of cloth. Yeah, historical cost data shows an average basis 1.6 meters of cloth is sold or used for this particular variety of dresses like that. Okay, for each category of, the shirt that you manufacture, take the historical cost data and decide what is the activity or what is the consumption. Or just look at the past history, you will get the time, cost, resources consumed based on that. The problem is, okay, it will tell you only the history, future performance, future cost may change. What do you mean by benchmarking? What do you mean by benchmarking? Setting a norm and making the employees to work to achieve that particular norm. That is called as which one? Benchmarking. For example, we want to manufacture laptops in our electronic appliances manufacturing company. We are manufacturing, let us assume, cameras, we are manufacturing projectors, fans, tube lights and all. We also want to manufacture laptops in our company. So for that, we are setting a target cost or we are setting a standard cost. So we'll go for benchmarking. What do you mean by benchmarking? We'll compare or we'll take the information from the market about others' cost. What do you mean by others' cost? How much others are spending in manufacturing. For this, we will take first global comparison, then we'll come for local comparison. We'll take a product manufacturer from China. What is the cost at which a laptop of this particular capacity is being assembled? Material cost, labor cost, you will work out and find out. Okay, from that manufacturer or for that manufacturer, you will try to find out that cost. Okay, you will always take the lowest cost. You will always take which one? Lowest cost. Now, this cost is in China. Is it possible to do that in India? No. You should do benchmarking based on the market standards in the local market. Okay, so for that, you should get the cost data of others who are manufacturing. So within India, if there is a manufacturing plant, maybe one or two companies manufacture, like HCL manufactures laptops in India. Get the cost from them. Get the cost from them. But getting the cost is a difficult one. But you can make out the cost. How to make out the cost? Simple. Look at the selling price. Okay. Look at the dealer margin that they provide. Look at the retailer margin that they provide. And eliminate all of them. Probably like if the laptop is sold for like 30,000 rupees without taxes or excluding taxes. If dealer margin is and sub-dealer margin is like 40%, 60% becomes their contribution. Within the 60%, they will may maintain about 10 to 15% profit. So maybe like we can take 55% as the cost. If 30,000 is the selling price, we may take at 15,000 or 16,000 as the cost of the laptop. So that will be taken as a benchmark for setting standards for our company. Not only that, we can set the standards. Like for example, a person is doing interior decoration work. Let us assume per square feet, the person charges about $10 per square feet, $10 for a work. Okay, take that as a benchmark and fix a cost for your company kind of a thing. That is called which one? Benchmark. But the problem is it's very difficult to get the data from others. Very, very difficult to get the data from others, especially the cost data. Next one is target costing. While fixing the standards, we'll always target a cost. Okay, let it be launching a rocket or manufacturing a shirt or manufacturing a chair, we will have a target cost. What is the target cost? Will you keep the highest possible cost or lowest possible cost? Lowest possible cost. Clear? So target cost will be the lowest possible cost in the industry or in the world or in the environment in which you are operating, we try to achieve. Okay, that is called as which one? Target cost. So based on the target cost, we will fix a standard for material, labor and overheads. That is target costing. Then now we go for, once we fix the standards, then we can go for comparing actual results with the budgeted results of the company. Results in which one? Variance. You can go through the material about budgets and standards, levels, etc. and all these things you can see. Then static budget variances. What do you mean by static budget variances? Simple. A fixed budget will be compared with actual results. Fixed budget will be compared with which one? Actual results to get which one? Static budget variances. For example, all the sales or variable cost or fixed cost, we'll compare the fixed budget with which one? Actual results. The difference we call it as variance. The difference we call it as which one? Variance. So please note, static budget variances means fixed budget variances. What do you mean by fixed budget? For example, we would have prepared a fixed budget for 25,000 units of a capacity. Actual sales may be 20,000 units. We'll compare the budget prepared for 25,000 with actual result achieved for what? 20,000, and we report the variance. That is called as what? Static budget variances. We'll see a example so that you will understand better. This is called as level 1 variance reporting. We call it as static budget variances. Just observe this. Just go through this. Column 1 talks about which one? Actual results. For how many units? 20,000 units. Column 2 talks about which one? A budget prepared for 24,000 units. A budget prepared for 24,000 units. So budget 24,000, actual is 20,000. Now with respect to quantity, is it favorable or adverse? Adverse. We were targeting 24,000, but actual is only 20,000. The 4,000 is adverse. Adverse is denoted with U. You can otherwise called as unfavorable. Unfavorable. Revenue means the sales. For 24,000 units, we were targeting a revenue of $28,80,000, but actual is only what? $25 lakh. It is also adverse, otherwise unfavorable. What do you mean by unfavorable? We were expecting the sales, but we got only this much. If actual sales is less than the static budget sales, we call it as which variance? Unfavorable variance. Now we split into variable cost and fixed cost. Material, okay, we were expecting to spend 14,40,000. Actual cost is only this much. Actual cost is only this much. Have we spent more or have we spent less? We have spent less than the budget. We have spent less than the budget. It is called as what? Favorable variance. Manufacturing labor, okay, the budget was 3,84,000, actual was 3,96,000. You spent more than the budget, which means it is unfavorable. Variable manufacturing overheads, we were having a budget of 2,88,000, but actuals are only 2,61,000. We spend less. It is called as what? Favorable. So from this you should understand, or you can easily understand, with respect to income, when you get more than the standard, when you get more than the budget, it is called as what? Favorable. When you get less than the budget, it is called as unfavorable. Cost, it is reverse. When you spend more, it is unfavorable. Actual amount is more than the static, it is unfavorable. Otherwise, it is favorable. Then we work out sales minus variable cost, we get what? Contribution. Sales minus variable cost, that is also unfavorable. Why? Because we were trying to get a contribution of 7,68,000, but we got only 5,99,800. Then fixed cost, 5,70,000. Okay, that is actual, but 5,52,000 is what is allowed. So we get 18,000 unfavorable. 18,000 unfavorable. Okay, net income. This is called as net profit. Budget was to earn a net profit of 2,16,000, but actual is only 29,800. It is called as which one? Unfavorable variance. It is called as which one? Unfavorable variance. Now, we have the knowledge of preparing a flexible budget. We have the knowledge of preparing flexible budget. Now, the problem or limitation of this method is we are comparing 24,000 units. A budget is prepared for how many units? 24,000 units with actual results of how much? 20,000 units. You are comparing a budget prepared for 24,000 units with actual results of how many units? 20,000 units. Then how can you say the sales is unfavorable? Because Budget is prepared for 24,000. Okay, but actual results are compared for 20,000 units. This is a sales for 20,000 units. Okay, so the static budget variances, okay, combines all types of variances. What do you mean by all types of variances? Normal inflation, abnormal expenses, as well as because of volume, as well as because of which one? Volume. You look at, there is a volume difference of 4,000. So the variance includes all, not only cost variances, this also includes what? Variances that occurred because of volume, because occurred because of which one? Volume. So what we are going to do is, we are going to use static budget variances. Okay, but I request you to prepare a flexible budget for 20,000 units. So now, wait பண்ணுங்க. What is a static budget variance? Simple. Static budget data is compared with actual results. Simple. That is static budget variance. Next, flexible budget variance. We'll prepare a flexible budget for the actual results and determine variance. Flexible budget for actual results and determine which one? Variance. Now in this question, can you prepare a flexible budget for 20,000 units? For 24,000 units, the data is given to us. Can you prepare a flexible budget for 20,000? Try to work out. Try to work out that aspect. Try to find out revenue, variable cost like direct material, direct labor, and variable manufacturing overheads, fixed cost also. Okay, based on the static budget, it is given for 24,000 units. Prepare a budget for 20,000 units and tell me the, operating income. Try பண்ணுங்க பார்க்கலாம்.
Sir, flexible budget from actual quantity into standard.
Simple. Maybe I'll do it for sales so that you'll understand better. Revenue. Revenue for 2,40,000, sorry, for 24,000, how much is given? 28,80,000 is given to us. For 20,000, how much? How to work out? Simple. 28,80,000. If this is for 24,000, what is for 20,000? Then variable cost. Variable cost includes direct material. Direct material, how much is given? 1 lakh, 14 lakh 40,000. Same way, 14 lakh 40,000 if it is for 24,000. What is for 20,000? Like that you do for all the other costs. Why this is required? We are going to compare this budget with actual results. That is called as flexible budget variances. In static budget variance, we compared a budget prepared for 24,000 units with actual results of 20,000. Now we are going to compare a revised budget we are going to prepare for the actual output. This results we are going to compare with the actual results. Now what I request is try to prepare a flexible budget for 20,000 units. Direct labor 3,84,000. So the same way, if this is for 24,000, what is for 20,000? Manufacturing overheads. Manufacturing overheads. This will give me total variable cost. So revenue minus total variable cost will give me contribution. Less fixed cost. What is the fixed cost? 5,52,000. Will it change? Fixed cost will not change with output. We had seen in flexible budgeting concept itself. Fixed cost remains what? Constant. So if you look at this will give us net income. So for this 20,000 units, what is your net income expected? 88,000. Any doubt in preparing the flexible budget? Have we taken up this? Any doubt in it? Is there any doubt in it? Now we are going to prepare this flexible budget data with actual results and can see the variance. That is called as flexible budget variance. Have we taken up this? Shall we
So
proceed?
then this is static budget.
Yes. Static budget is nothing but budget done for 24,000. Since the actual results are there only for 20,000, we prepare a budget for 20,000. With this budget data, we'll compare the actual results of 20,000.
Okay.
That is called as flexible budget variance.
Okay, sir. Okay. So static budget is like
We'll see the impact. We'll see the analysis. When we analyze it, you will understand better why should we prepare a flexible budget for 20,000 and see the variance. Have we taken up this, part? Everyone? Same method that we use, right? Variable costs or variable information changes according to output. Fixed cost remains what? Same. Let it be 24,000 or 28,000 or 20,000. Okay, the fixed cost will remain what? The same. So now we are going to compare this flexible budget with actual results that I've given in the material itself. Okay, actual results are going to be compared with which one? Flexible budget. Actual results will be compared with flexible budget. Just see the working we have done. Actual results are given to us. Flexible budget we worked out for 20,000. The difference is how much? 1 lakh favorable. Clear? Once again I repeat. For this 20,000 units, the sales expected is how much? Sales expected is how much? 2 lakh, that is 24 lakhs. For the same 20,000 units, we achieved a sales of 25 lakhs. You got more sales. You got which one? More sales. It is called as favorable variance. Any doubt in it? Flexible budget, we prepared for the 20,000 units. Simple, sir. We sold 20,000 units. For the 20,000 units, what is the expected sales? 24 lakhs. How much of actual sales you got? 25 lakhs. Yeah, we got more. 1 lakh favorable. Then, why there is a difference, sir? Why there is a difference? Simple. 24 lakhs and 28 lakh 80. The difference arised because of the volume. Difference arised because of which one? Volume. Otherwise, we prepared a static budget for 24,000 units. What is the revenue expected? 28 lakh 80. We prepared a flexible budget for 20,000. What is the sales? What is the sales? 24 lakhs. Why did you lose this 4 lakh 80,000? Because of the volume. Because of the 4,000 units, we lost it. That is what? The difference we call it as volume variance. Because of the volume, we lost 4 lakh 80,000. Because 4,000 units were sold less, we lost a sales of 4 lakh 80,000. The net variance is unfavorable. Net variance is what? Unfavorable. Otherwise, flexible budget variance 1 lakh favorable. Because of the volume 4 lakh 80,000 unfavorable, net unfavorable variance is 3 lakh 80,000. This is what we had seen earlier. 3 lakh 80,000 unfavorable. Plainly, when we report 3 lakh 80,000 unfavorable, it is not correct. Because we are comparing an actual result of 20,000 with static budget of 24,000. When you compare the actual results of 20,000 with a budget of 20,000 only, then you will get a proper result. Clear? So for 20,000, what is expected sales? 24 lakhs. But actually we sold 25 lakhs. Really, the sales is more. But why did you lose? Because of the volume. Because of the volume. How much? 4 lakh 80,000. Total variance is 3 lakh 80,000. Then direct material that we worked out. Direct material 12 lakhs. 12 lakhs. Actual is 12 lakh 43,200. 12 lakhs we should have spent. But actually we spent 12 lakh 43,200. So flexible budget variance is how much? 43,200 unfavorable. 43,200 unfavorable. Okay. And why did you spend more? Because of, volume. Because of volume, the 2,40,000. 2,40,000. Otherwise, there is a reduction in production. So cost is saved by 2,40,000. Cost is saved by 2,40,000. Net 1,98,000 favorable. Then same like the other overheads also. Manufacturing overheads 3,20,000 is what is allowed, but we spent 3,96,000. We spent 3,96,000. 76,000 unfavorable. Okay. We saved a cost of 64,000 because there is a reduction in production, or there is a reduction in cost due to reduction in production. Net 12,000 unfavorable. Variable manufacturing overheads, same way. 2,40,000 compared with 2,61,000. 21,000 we spent more. 21,000 we spent more. Okay. A reduction in cost due to reduction in production or reduction in output is 48,000. 48,000. So net 27,000 favorable. Net 27,000 favorable. Like that we work out. Fixed overhead should not change with output. Fixed overhead should not change with output. But actually we spent 5,70,000 means we spent 18,000 more. We spent 18,000 more. So that 18,000 spent more is called as what? Unfavorable variance. So flexible budget variance is 58,200 unfavorable, and because of the volume unfavorable is what? 1,28,000. Totally it causes the total variance. Clear? Now for evaluating the efficiency of the workers, we will take the flexible budget variance. We'll take the flexible budget variance. Then why the total variance? Why the total variance? Where the total variance will be taken? Where the total variance will be taken? Or 1,28,000 a variance came because of the change in volume of production or change in the volume of output. We prepared a budget for 24, but actually we achieved a target of 20,000. Because of the volume, this 1,28,000 came. To measure the efficiency, the 58,200 will be considered. Otherwise, we'll see how much we spent more in material, 76,000. How much we spent more in variable manufacturing overheads and fixed manufacturing overheads, only that particular part will be seen. Please remember, though revenues are 1 lakh favorable, material, labor, variable expenses, and fixed expenses we spent more. Because of that, the loss happened. Sales is positive, we got 1 lakh more, but material, labor, variable expenses, and fixed cost we spent more. That should be analyzed further. The management will analyze why did you spend this 43,200 extra? Why did you spend this 76,000 extra like that? The management will analyze. So for evaluating the performance, flexible budget variances are more relevant. Okay, the static budget variances arise because of both, the efficiency as well as volume. Next, this is level 2 variance. Level 1 variance is just comparing fixed budget with actual results and seeing the variance. Okay, level 2 variance is nothing but we prepare a flexible budget. We prepare which one? A flexible budget for the actual result, and we compare the actual results to determine the variance. To determine which one? Variance. Now, I request you to copy this question and try to work out. You're going to take it along with me and you're going to work out variances. Everything is in dollars. All material cost is in dollars. I'll do the easy part, you do the other part. Static budget variances. Simple. I'm going to compare actual minus static budget. $10,000 unfavorable. Material cost 50,000 unfavorable. We spent more. No, favorable. This one is 1,20,000 favorable. This one is 50,000 favorable. When you spend less, it is favorable. This is how much? 5,000 favorable. 8,000 favorable. 5,000 we spent more unfavorable. 2,000 unfavorable. Check the data and information. Is it correct? So cost 2,26,000 favorable, revenue 2 lakhs unfavorable, net 26,000 favorable. Net 26,000 favorable. You try to do the next part. That means flexible budget variances you try to work out.
Flexible budget, actual cost into standard.
For this, you have to prepare the flexible budget. Simple. For 50,000, if it is 5 lakhs, what is for 40,000? This is static budget variance. We can report in any manner. Prepare a flexible budget. Prepare a flexible budget for 40,000 units. Simple. If 5 lakhs is for 50,000, what is for 40,000? For all variable cost, you can proportionately work out. For all variable cost, you can work out proportionately. For all the fixed expenses, they won't change with output. Fixed expenses do not change with output. Just take the cost as it is. This is also proportionately we can work out. 18 lakhs if it is for 50,000, what is for 40,000, like that. Then we can work out flexible budget variances. How to do flexible budget variances? Actual results will be compared with flexible budget. Actual result will be compared with flexible budget results. You look at 4,50,000. 4,50,000 is actual. But as per the flexible budget, you should have spent only 4 lakhs. What happens here is what happened? 4,50,000 we spent, but we should have spent for 40,000 only 4 lakhs. When you compare this, what happens? 50,000 favorable or unfavorable? Unfavorable. We spent more. 4 lakh 80, 4 lakh 80. No variance. No variance. Two lakh 50 actually we spent, but what is allowed is 2 lakh 40. 10,000 adverse. 75,000 we spent, allowed is 80,000. 5,000 favorable. 72,000 we spent, allowed is 64,000. 8,000 favorable. 45,000 actually we spent, allowed is only 40,000. $70,000 unfavorable. 16 lakhs. Flexible budget 14 lakh 40. We, as per the flexible budget for the 40,000 units, the sales should have been 14 lakh 40, but actual sales is 16 lakhs. Favorable. So net difference is $90,000 favorable. 90,000 favorable. Sales 1,60,000 favorable. But if you look at static budget variance, it is 2 lakhs unfavorable. 2 lakhs unfavorable. Okay, the difference is called as volume variance. The difference is nothing but volume variance. Static budget minus flexible budget. That causes which variance? Volume variance, or volume variance analyzed because of all these things, or arises because of all these things. Static budget minus flexible budget. Static budget minus flexible budget. This is static budget given. Minus flexible budget. Volume variance will come. 5 lakh, 4 lakh. 1 lakh unfavorable. 6 lakhs and 4 lakh 80,000. 12 lakhs favorable. One lakh favorable. 3 lakhs and 2 lakh 40,000. 80,000, 80,000. 80,000, 64,000. 40,000, 40,000, nil. 20,000, 20,000, nil. Overall variance will be can cross check 3,60,000. Yeah, favorable, favorable 1 lakh 20, 2 lakh 96,000 favorable. 18 lakhs. How to verify the answer? You can verify the answer. Volume variance plus flexible budget variance will give us total variance. Volume variance plus flexible budget variance will give us what? Total variance. Volume variance is how much? 1 lakh favorable. This is 50,000 adverse. 50,000 adverse. So net will be 50,000 favorable. 1 lakh favorable, 50,000 adverse. Net will be 50,000 favorable. 1 lakh 20,000 favorable. There is no flexible budget variance. So total is 1 lakh 20,000 favorable. 60,000 favorable. 10,000 adverse. Totally 50,000 favorable. No volume variance because of fixed overheads. 5,000 favorable will be equal to 5,000 favorable. Can cross check. 16,000 favorable. I hope this is 8,000 adverse. 8,000 adverse. Unfavorable. 16,000 favorable, 8,000 unfavorable. Total 8,000 favorable net. 5,000 unfavorable, 5,000 unfavorable. 2,000 unfavorable, 2,000 unfavorable. 2,96,000 favorable. 70,000 unfavorable. Net is 2,26,000 favorable. Same way here. 3,60,000 unfavorable. 1,60,000 favorable. Net will be 2 lakhs unfavorable. 2 lakhs unfavorable. For evaluating the performance of employees and sections, this will be considered. This will be considered. Volume variance arises because of the quantity. The budgeted quantity is 50,000 units. Actual quantity is 40,000 units. So because of the quantity, this volume variance arises. Efficiency shall be measured only by comparing flexible budget with actual results. Flexible budget with which one? Actual results. This is okay. This we call it as level 1 variances. Okay. This is called as level 2 variances. Level 1, we just compare static budget with actual results. Level 2, we prepare a flexible budget for the actual output and compare with actual results. And the difference is called as which one? Volume variances. Or you can simply work out level 1 variance if it is 50,000 favorable and if it is 50,000 adverse, because of volume 1 lakh should have been favorable. Only then this 50,000 unfavorable is possible. 12 lakh 50,000, 1 lakh 12, I mean 1 lakh 20,000 favorable came because of this particular volume variance. Like that also you can check and do it. So this is, we had seen level 1 variances nothing but static budget variances. What is level 2 variances? Flexible budget variances. The difference is volume variance. Now we will go for level 3 variances. What do you mean by level 3 variances? We want to analyze a D in depth. Why this material cost variance came? Why this material cost variance came? For example, even within the flexible budget, there is an unfavorable variance. Okay, for this 40,000 units, we should have spent only 4 lakhs, but actually we spent 4 lakh 50,000. Actually, we spent what? 4 lakh 50,000. There is an unfavorable to the extent of what? 50,000. We want to check why this 50,000 unfavorable came. Okay, like that. In labor cost, okay, there is a change. There is a change in expenses. Within the flexible budget, there is a change. Actual for 40,000, when we compare with flexible budget for 40,000, there is a change. We want to see why this variance analyze. Simple. Analyzing the level 2 variances, we'll do it in level 3. Have we taken up this? Shall we proceed? Then the next level variances, manufacturing input variances. Let us look into the question. There is a direct material. There are two material which you use, material 1 and material 2. The total cost budgeted is 11 lakhs. Total cost budgeted is 11 lakhs. Actual expenses are like 9 lakh 30,000. Can add up 11 lakhs and what? 9 lakh 30,000. Okay. Why this variance came? Why this variance came? 11 lakhs and 9 lakh 30,000. Why this variance came? We want to analyze it deeper. We want to analyze deeper. One of the reason is because of the quantity. Because of which one? Quantity. So one is called as which variance? Price variance. Another variance is called as which one? Quantity variance, which may be because of mix and yield, which we are going to come to it later. Then direct labor also can come because of price, all those things. Factory overhead variances, sales variances, which we are going to analyze all these things. Okay, pay attention. Pay attention. Let's assume we are mixing three materials. We are mixing three raw materials in a proportion. Like material A will be used like 60% proportion, B will be used like 20% proportion, and material C will be used like 30% proportion. Sorry, 20% proportion. Total is like 100% proportion. And we estimate a standard loss because input cannot be equal to be output. There is a standard loss in processing. We expect a standard loss of 10%. Net output, we expect 90%. We expect how much? 90%. Standard rate that is like $10 for raw material A, $5 for raw material B, and $5 for raw material, okay, 4 for raw material C. This is what is a standard proportion. Standard proportion. Actual consumption. Actual consumption. A was like 10,000 kg, B was like 5,000 kg, C was like 5,000 kg. So total consumption is 20,000 kilograms. Actual rate. Actual rate $11, $5.5, and $4. This is actual rate. Actual output was 17,500 units. Actual output was how much? 17,500 units. You can look at now, what are the possible variances? What are the possible variances? Can you analyze and tell me what are the possible variances?
Sir, volume variance.
Volume variance will come. Then
Rate variance.
yes, there is a price. Okay, standard price is 10, 5, and 4. Actual price is 11, 5.5, and 4. So because of the price, there is a change in cost of material can happen. Because of the price, the change in cost of material can happen. That is number one. Because of the price, change in the cost can happen. If you look at what is the standard yield, when I put 100 kg, 10 kg can be loss. What is the net output required? 90% output required. For the 20,000 kilograms used, actual output should be 20,000 minus 10%. It should be 18,000 units. But actual output is only 17,500. For the usage of this much of quantity of raw material, okay, if 10% is the loss, standard output expected is 18,000. Standard output expected is 18,000. But actual output we got only what? 17,500 units, which is called as yield variance. What do you mean by yield? If you don't get the expected output, then yield variance comes. For example, yield variance is very popular in agro-based products, agricultural products. Let's assume we are running a sugar manufacturing factory. Okay, you get sugar cane, crush it, get the pulp, then get the sugar. Clear? So for every 1 ton of sugar cane crushed, you should get at least 25 kg of, sorry, not 25 kg, 100 kg of sugar, 100 kg of sugar. For 1000 kg crushed, 100 kg should be the output. But I get only 90 kg. I get only what? 90 kg, which means yield is not there. Or let us take wheat or rice. Clear. When we put input quantity, in process there will be waste like husk, etc. Waste will be there. Net output should be there. If output is expected output is not coming, that is called as what variance? Yield variance. It is called as what variance? Yield variance. And you can look at the proportions. 60%, 20%, 20%. Standard proportion. The material should have been used in 60, 20, 20 proportion. But look at the actual proportion. Is it mixed in the same proportion? Material A should be 60%, B 20%, C 20%. If you look at proportion, A 50%, B 25%, C 25%. The mix is not in the same way. Let us assume you are manufacturing a product by mixing 3 chemicals. Clear. This is a standard proportion. This is the actual proportion. Which means the material is not consumed in the same proportion. The material is not consumed in the same proportion. That causes mix variance. That is called as what? Mix variance. So number one, the material variance can be because of price. The material variance can be because of which one? Price. The material variance can be because of consumption. Quantity consumed is affected by mix variance. And of course, yield. For example, let us assume you are running a gold ornament manufacturing company. What is the standard mix of gold and copper? What is the standard mix of gold and copper in manufacturing a gold ornament? 986 kdm, right? 986 or 916? 916 means 91.6% gold and 8.4% copper. But we pay 100% for the gold. Okay. So 91.6% gold and 8.4% copper. This is called as what? Standard mix. Suppose if I change it as 90 and 10, what will happen? The quantity consumed will change. Number one, cost also will change. Cost also will change. I consume less of high cost material and more of low cost material. Cost will change. Not only the cost, quality will get changed. When the customer is going to go to some other shop and checks it, the quality of the ornament will be low. So he will not come back and buy. Suppose if it is 93% gold and 7% copper, 93% gold and 7% copper, you are consuming more of high cost material and less of low cost material. Overall cost of production will go up. Overall cost of production will go up. Customer might be happy, but you will be losing directly on the cost. You will be losing directly on the cost. Clear? So mix variances affects not only the cost but also the quality. If it is an ornament, no problem. If it is mixing up chemicals and manufacturing a drug, maybe a cough syrup or maybe a shampoo, like a shampoo that is used for, dandruff removal, like they mix like 50%, 30%, okay, like 10%, 9.9%, then 0.1% and all they mix. The 0.1% may be a hazardous chemical that removes dandruff, but if it is mixed in a higher proportion, it will cause side effects. Clear? So what is the side effect? The hair fall will happen. Clear? Let's assume instead of 0.1%, you mixed 0.2%. It can be a hair coloring item or it can be a shampoo. Instead of mixing 0.1% of hazardous chemical substance, you mixed what? 0.2%. Number one, cost will go up. Number two, quality of the product will get affected. Number three, okay, side effects will happen. Okay, and of course, it will cause certain legal consequences also. So, mix variance, when you don't mix in the same proportion, that is called as mix variance. Mix variance will result in change in the usage of quantity. It's like, for example, 20,000 into 60%. 20,000 into 60%, how much should have been consumed? 12,000. But actually, how much we consumed? 10,000 only. So, mix variance will result in quantity consumption. And yield variance also will change in quantity consumption. How? For 20,000, we should have achieved 18,000 units because with the loss of 10%, the output should have been 18,000. But actual output is only what? 17,500. That's why we've got two major variances, price variance and which variance? Quantity variance. Quantity variance can be further bifurcated into mix variance and which variance? Yield variance. That is what? Price variance. Okay, efficiency or quantity variance comes because of which one? Mix variance and which variance? Yield variance. Okay, this can happen in material as well as in labor. Okay, each one we are going to analyze. Each one we are going to analyze. We are going to see which one? Direct material variances next. Direct material variances next. Okay. Now how to find out price variance? How to find out price variance? Simple. Standard actual quantity consumed into actual rate minus actual price. Okay, actual price minus standard price. What is the actual quantity consumed in this? What is actual quantity consumed for ABC? This multiplied with actual price minus standard price. 11 minus 10. 5.5 minus 5. 4 minus 4. So this will give us the variance. 10,000 into this is called as price variance. Price variance, it is unfavorable. Unfavorable means actual cost is more than the standard cost. Actual cost is more than what? Standard price. It is called as what? Unfavorable variance. Unfavorable variance. I request you to take up this. Then we'll proceed to the other variances like mix variance and other things. So price variance would have happened because of inflation, which is not controllable, which is not controllable, which is not there in your hand. Or price variance would have happened because you chose a wrong supplier, or supplier has changed, or supplier has changed the price, or supplier's input cost has increased because of that he recovers more or charges more. Or the price variance would have happened because of wrong budgeting also. The budgeting was done wrongly. Actually, the standard price of 1054, while fixing the standard, they make a mistake. They made a mistake. So why there is a price variance? It may be inflation, it may be change in supplier or change in supplier's terms and conditions, or supplier's input cost would have changed, or it would have been a mistake in estimating the price also. While preparing the budget itself, we would have done a mistake. So which the management should analyze and take a decision. If the variances are controllable, take a corrective action. If the variances are not controllable, change the standard for the next year. So this is called as material price variance. Please take up this and we'll proceed. But better to note at least the formula. Actual quantity consumed into actual price minus standard price. Mix variance comes Simple. You take the standard mix. Take the standard mix minus actual mix. Standard mix minus actual mix into standard price. For ABC, what is the standard mix? Standard mix is 20,000 into 60%, right? 20,000 into 60%. 20,000 total quantity into 40%. Sorry,
Sir,
20%.
you can do like this now, sir, like 10,000 divided by 20,000, 60% minus 50%, and then do
That also you can do.
stand-
This is the standard mix. What is the standard mix? 12,000, 4,000, 4,000 minus actual mix. This into standard price. This into what is the standard price? 10, 5, and which one? 4. You should not take actual price, because if you take actual price, then you are combining both the variances. You are combining both price and mix variances. You are combining both price and mix variances. That's why you should take only which price? Standard price. So one is 20,000, 20,000, this is favorable, 5,000 unfavorable, and 4,000 unfavorable. So net how much? 11,000 favorable. Otherwise, the organization has consumed lesser quantity of high costly material. Okay, 60% should have been the consumption, but actually we consumed only 10,000. We have consumed lesser quantity of high cost material, lesser quantity of high cost material. That's why it is favorable. It is favorable. And more quantities of cheaper material, more quantities of cheaper material. Of course, some adverse has come, but net favorable 11,000. This is called as which variance? Mix variance.
So the actual consumed is 20,000, quantity consumed is 11,000. So it is favorable, sir.
No. This is this is not quantity, this is cost. Rupees. This is in value. This is quantity. 12,000 quantity is in standard. This is the standard proportion. You should have used 12,000, 4,000, 4,000. But actually, we used 10,000, 5,000, 5,000. So the consumption is not in standard proportion. The consumption is not in standard proportion. And the proportion mix panla. Because of that, this variance comes. Otherwise, quantity consumed is not in, standard proportion. This is called as mix variance.
Sir, can we do in proportion, sir, like for actual consumption also?
Better to go with quantity. Otherwise, this should have been mixed, but actually this is what is mixed. So difference into the price will give us mix variance. Otherwise, this gives you exact numbers. Should have consumed like 12,000 kilograms, but we actually consumed only 10,000 kilograms. So because of the mix, there is a change like that. Okay, next variance. Okay, one is which variance? Mix variance. Another one is called as yield variance. Understand this yield variance. Understand this yield variance properly. What is the standard mix? There are two methods of working out. What is the standard mix of A, B, C? 60, 20, 20. What is the price for this? What is the price for this? 10,
10,
5,
5,
4.
4.
So we multiply 600, 180. 780 is the cost for 90 units. How 90 units? Net output after losses 90 units. 750 is the cost for how many units? 90 units. So what is the cost for 17,500 units? What is the cost for 17,500 units?
Sir, that is 60%, no, sir?
60% also you can take. Proportion also you can take. You can take what? Proportion also you can take and use it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So what is the cost per unit? What is the cost per unit? 780 divided by 90. 780 divided by 90. 8.667. This is the cost per unit. This is the cost per unit. This can be worked by another method also. For ABC, already we worked out standard mix. What is the cost? Okay, not the cost. For this, what is the cost? You can multiply like this also. Sorry. This can be worked by alternative method. Less, what is the standard loss allowed? 10% allowed, which means 2000 units allowed. Okay, output 18,000. What is the cost? 1,56,000. So if you work out cost per unit, 1,56,000 divided by 18,000. You do 1,56,000 divided by 18,000. You'll get the same 8.667. Either by the mixed proportion you can do it, or by the standard proportion for the actual consumption you can do it. But pay attention. Actual output is only how many units? 17,500 units. So how much have yield lost? Yield lost, how many units have yield lost? 500 units have yield lost. For this, what is the cost? Simple. 500 into 8.6667. 500 into 8.66667. 500 units we lost into 8.6667. 4,333.33. This is called as yield variance. This is called as which variance? Yield variance. So,
Sir, this is standard actual quantity into standard price, standard proportion into standard price, no, sir?
no, no. Actually, uh, what is the actual quantity consumed? 20,000. If it is mixed in standard proportion, this would have been the standard proportion of quantity used. 1054 would have been the cost. Total cost would have been 1,56,000. Standard loss of 10% is allowed. For a standard output of 18,000, what is the standard cost? 1,56,000 means what is the cost per unit? 8.667. But we got an actual output of only how many units? Actual output of only 17,500 units. Only 17,500 units. So we lost 500 units. We lost 500 units. For that, the cost is 500 into 8.667. That is called as which variance? Yield variance. Otherwise, we should have got 18,000. Actual output is only 17,500. We lost an yield. So how to find out standard cost per unit? One is you go by mixed proportion. What is mixed proportion? 60, 20, 20 proportion. 600, 180. What is the total cost? 780 is the cost for an output of how many units? 90 units. So find out cost per unit. Either this method you can follow or based on the actual consumption. Don't take actual consumption. Actual consumption in the standard proportion, you take it and find out the standard cost. What do you mean by standard cost? What do you mean by standard cost? If this material 20,000 kg was used in the same proportion, what is the cost? So 1,56,000 is the cost. There is a process loss of 10% allowed, means for a standard output of 18,000 units, what is the cost? So we find out cost per unit. Pay attention. I'll verify my answer also. Pay attention. Shall we? What is the price variance we worked out? What is the price variance we worked out? 12,500 unfavorable. 12,500 unfavorable. Then quantity variance. Quantity variance arises because of mix variance. What is the mix variance? 11,000 favorable. Then yield variance. 4,333.33 adverse. Yield is unfavorable. Net is 11,000 minus 4,333. 11,000 minus 4,333. Someone of you work out and tell me.
6,669.5.
6,000?
669.5.
It
is 6,066. 6,669.5.
67.
69.5, sir.
Pardon? I hope it should be correct. So net variance, this is called as material cost variance. Material which variance? Cost variance. So 12,500 minus this one will give me unfavorable. So material price variance is how much? 12,500 unfavorable. Quantity variance came because of mix and yield. So 6,667 favorable. Net material cost variance is what? 5,833 unfavorable. Sir, is it possible to work out or verify my answer? Yes, you can verify your answer. It is not for IMA examination point of view to prove that what we have solved is correct. Let us work out actual cost of material. What is the quantity? ABC is the quantity. Actual consumption is available. And actual cost is also available. Multiply it. This is actual cost of material. One lakh 57,500 is the actual cost of material less standard cost for the actual output. This is the actual cost of material used minus standard cost of material, actual standard cost of actual output. What is the standard cost per unit? Based on standard mix, we worked out. Two methods we followed, any of the method, 8.667. So what is the actual output? 17,500 units actual output into 8.66667. Difference we call it as material cost variance. Hope our verification comes correct. Yes. Unfavorable. Otherwise, we have spent 1,57,500. We have actually spent 1,57,500. We should have spent only 1,51,667. We spent 5,833 more. We spent 5,833 more. That is why it is called as what? Unfavorable variance. Okay, this is like level 2 analysis. This is like level 2 analysis. Okay, this is the actual cost incurred. For this output, what is the cost? 151,667. Total material cost is 5,833. This we break down into price variance. Because of price, how much we lost? Because of price, how much we lost? Simple, actual quantity consumed into actual price minus standard price, we lost 12,500. Then because of mix, how much we lost? We have not lost. This is a standard mix. This is the actual mix. There is a proportion change. There is a proportion change. We multiply with standard price. Actually, we gained in mix variance. We gained means we consumed lesser quantity of high cost material, more quantities of low cost material. That's why it is favorable. It is favorable. Yield variances. Expected yield is like 18,000. 18,000. For that, what is the cost allowed? 1,56,000. So per unit, what is the cost allowed? 8.6667. But actual output is only 17,500 units. We lost 500 units. We lost 500 units of yield. For that, there is an yield variance. So mix variance and yield variance causes quantity variance. So net variance is 5,833. This is what is given to the top management. Okay. This is more like what we have done here. Right? We just report by comparing flexible budget with actual results and we say favorable or unfavorable like that. But what is present to the top management is a detailed information. Okay. This is not sufficient. We just break down into what is the reason for variance. What is the reason for variance like that. Once again, I repeat from the beginning. How to work out price variance? Logically, more than as a formula, please understand logically. This is actual quantity consumed. This is what is actual price spent, but what is the price that is budgeted? 10, 5 and 4. Difference is which variance? Price variance. What is mix variance? Sir, this is my actual mix. What is the standard mix? 60-20-20 proportion. Difference is which variance? Mix variance. Yield variance is, so for this quantity consumption, after a loss of 10%, 90% output is expected. Instead of percentage, I just substitute quantity. So when I consume 100 kg, the cost is like 780. Is a cost for 90 units of output. Is the cost for 90 units of output. So cost per unit is 780 by 90. 780 by 90, you get 8.67. Or If this material is consumed in standard proportion, this would have been the cost. After a standard loss of 2000, for a standard output of 18,000, if it is 1,56,000, what is the cost per unit? We expected output of 18,000, but we got an actual output of only 17,500. Means how much of yield is lost? 500 units of yield is lost. So what is the cost for that? 4,333.33. Now we report the variances. Price variance, mix variance plus yield variance causes which variance? Quantity variance. Total material cost variance is this much. This is a verification of our answer. This is what we spent. This is what we should have spent. Difference is which variance? Material cost variance. I'll give a problem for you to solve. Take up this question. Standard proportion, everything is in kilogram. 30 kg, 20 kg, 30 kg. Total is 80 kg. For 80 kg of input, 5 kg is allowed as standard loss. Net output is 75 kg. Actual output is 87,000 kg. Okay, try to work out all the variances for this. Try to work out all the variances for this, and you can verify your answer also. You can take it either as a proportion or like 30 kg, 20 kg, 30 kg. If 80 kg is used, standard loss is like 5 kg. Then net output is like 75 kg. Here you will have yield variance, positive yield variance. For 80 kg, 5 kg is allowed. For 90,000 kg, okay, what is allowed like that you can work out. You can definitely find here you will have a favorable yield variance. Favorable which variance? Yield variance will be there. Try this probably like today or tomorrow. I request you to try this. Then we'll of course discuss the answer for this question in the next class. Then we'll proceed further. Okay, a standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard rate. No, don't mug up the formula. If you mug up the formula, then in IMA examination you cannot pass. Okay, logically also you understand. Clear? This is the quantity consumed. This is the price at which we purchased. But this should have been the price. Differences which variance? Price variance. Okay, quantity variance comes because of what? Mix and yield. Practically also you can see. Why do I use extra quantity of raw material? Because I don't mix in the same standard proportion. Number two, I expect an yield. If the actual output is not coming or if the actual output is not matching with the expected yield, of course, the usage will be different, quantity will be different. So here, standard proportion is this one, actual proportion is this one. Because of that, the variance comes. That is called as which variance? Mix variance. Okay. For a level of output, what is the cost per unit? You work out. Then you identify how much is lost. Then based on that, you can work out which variance? Yield variance. So we verified our answer also. So this question will definitely will have a favorable yield variance. Favorable yield variance. Try this question. We'll meet in the next class. That is, next class we'll meet. Pause and copy this wherever required. Yeah. Pause and copy up to this. And of course, workings on yield variance, either based on standard information given or in the standard proportion you work out and you can take it up. So it's a reconciliation and verification for our answer. Material cost variance is 5,833 adverse. That we verified. And try this question at home. Must to try this question at home. Please copy this and try it at home.